Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlshades.com. Here for another live stream. I don't remember what fucking number we're at now, but just so you know, we're going to be doing them from now on Wednesdays, just because, fuck it, why not? So today is our last church day, I guess, technically, with the live stream. And an interesting topic came up recently that I want to make the focus of this video. And it's when women are trying to change you. And then, of course, we'll lead into the Q&A section. So for those of you who are new to my live streams, I usually just preach to you for, could be 20 minutes, could be 40 minutes, sometimes the full hour. I just go for as long as I deem necessary for this video, and I just do basically a normal video, just off the cuff. But instead of being more, precise with it as I would in a technical video, I'm a little bit more verbose, and so I can kind of draw out my thoughts more. It doesn't make for as good of kind of video where everything's perfect and cleanly cut, but it does have the advantage of me being able to explain myself more thoroughly and fleshing out my ideas. So yeah, that's how it works, and I'll get to it then now. Okay, so women trying to change you. This is something that is always going to happen, and I'll go over the reasons why a woman would want to change you, their motivations. Because some of you, I don't know, you might be angry about it, you might be confused about it, you might just not understand why women want to do it. Whatever it is. Hey man, hello guys. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it, Raphael. And so there are 3/2 reasons, because I'm kind of thinking these two reasons are together, but there's two definite reasons. So the first reason why a woman would want to change you is because she's trying to get you into a relationship. It works, basically, is what I'm trying to say. When women convince you to change your behaviors, they're usually in the direction of making you more domesticated, more safe, less adventurous, less promiscuous, less crazy, more stable. If you're not in a relationship yet and you guys are dating, she might make a comment about you sleeping with other women, which is something that I encounter a lot. What else might you encounter? She's going to comment maybe on your partying habits, your viewpoints, if you have more traditionally what someone would call sexist, misogynistic, whatever fucking vague, baseless term they just want to throw out in the hopes that somehow it makes sense, but those are really vague and they don't make a lot of sense usually. They're going to convince you to become more serious with your life and not do, what I do, for instance, because it's very unstable. They might convince you to get a normal job, make money. That's usually if you're in a relationship already. Because I actually read somewhere that the two biggest things that couples argue about is number one is sex, which is interesting. It tells you a lot. But number two is money. And so I think that women are getting mad about money as a way to convince you to, because sometimes it's legitimately an issue. If you plan on having a family, you're going to need money. Shit, I was reading this recently, the Buddha in the Pali Canon actually gives financial advice. It's super funny. What's his advice? It's 1/4 of it you save, 1/4 of it half of it you save, 1/4 you put into half you put into investments, 1/4 you save, and 1/4 you just spend, whatever you want. And he actually advises, he says, if you want to have a family life, like a household life, get rich. Literally, unequivocally, there's no way to misinterpret it, he says, to build a fortune, a massive fortune. Which is kind of funny because a lot of people think about Buddhists and they're like, they're against greed. Yeah, they're against greed, but you can still get money. It's only if you're a monk that you're not supposed to deal with money. So that's interesting that even the Buddha himself said that you need to get money if you want to have a normal household life and have a family. That being said, while you should be trying to make money, it's a very important tool in this world. It's simply just value. Money isn't anything in and of itself. It's just, it's a fiat. We use currencies to represent value. You should be getting money, but if a woman is pressuring you to get money, what she's either doing in the relationship, I know this is kind of a digression, but it's interesting. What she's trying to do, she's either criticizing your value as a man, because men are judged based on what? Their ability to fight, their ability to get women, to get money, and to get status and acclaim in their field or their profession. And so if she's saying that you need to get more money, she's just criticizing your ability as a man. If you guys aren't technically struggling to put food on the table, then what she's doing is saying you could be better than you are. But also she could just be criticizing you outright. This actually comes back to the original point that I want to talk about. Interesting. She's trying to say you're not a man because you can't get money. Because no matter what progressive ideologies, people purport to have, they're usually going back to the basics of a man gets money, gets bitches, and achieves things. And so what I actually wanted to talk about as the thesis of this video is that, yes, a woman is either trying to change you to get a relationship or to improve the relationship, so that this fits in. These cats are just having a fucking ball. Oh, they're really hungry? Oh, okay. Whenever we start videos, the two cats here just lose their shit and just decide to try and take as much attention as possible. Usually it's Raw, the boy, but now it's the girl. She's being a diva. Maybe it's because I'm talking about women, trying to change you, and she's protesting and being a little bitch. Anyways, so the reason why a woman wants you to change your behavior and who you are is because she's either trying to get you into a relationship and settle you down, which is something that I encounter a lot. And I'll come back to the money thing in a second. And I get this a lot because of what I do for a living. Women are like, why do you want to fuck so many women? You shouldn't be trying to fuck so many women. And then I ask the very basic question that literally no one ever asks. Why is the norm considered just to hook up with one woman? Unless you have some sort of religious motivation. And even the religious motivation, if you guys have actually read the Bible, St. Paul doesn't have this thing of there's only one woman out there that's right for you. What he says is, look, you shouldn't even be giving into your base desires. You should be focusing on basically enlightenment. But if you can't control your dick or your pussy, then find one person to kind of keep that bodily need in check, and don't become greedy and be really promiscuous. But the base motivation behind it is to focus on something higher. So why do people always think that the norm is to hook up with one person? And you have to go back into your motivations of why it is that you believe that. But that's one of the things that girls try to tell me to change, is to not be so promiscuous. The ways that they'll criticize my behavior and these are women who are sleeping with me and dating me and know me well. And obviously they find themselves not being at the top of the list anymore if they bother me too much and try to change me. But it's normal, everyone's always trying to confirm their worldviews, which is actually the second reason why women want to change you. But women will just criticize how many women I want to sleep with, why I want to sleep with them, et cetera, et cetera. And usually what's going on is they're trying to get me to settle down, and hopefully, maybe they're consciously doing it, or maybe just subconsciously, it's their sexual strategy. Look, women can get sex. What they need is relationships. And so the more men that a woman can get to offer them a relationship, that's where her sexual value comes in. I'm not saying, that's her only value as a woman, so chill out. What I'm saying is on the sexual, romantic level, a woman is not judged by how many men want to fuck her, because unless you were just grossly fucking hideous, you could probably fuck most guys walking around. A woman's sexual value is determined by how many men she can get to commit, right? You can have a super hot girl and she can fuck any guy anytime, but after the guys fuck her and they're like, oh yeah, there's nothing else to her, I don't want to settle down with her, and then she calls guys fuckboys. That's where the female strategy comes in. And so, and then the strategy for men is to fuck, because that's the hard thing. To get the relationships is pretty easy once we fuck. But women are, their like sexual value is determined by who they can get in a relationship. So even if a woman is not consciously saying, I want to be in a relationship with you, she will try to enforce that worldview on you, because two things are going to happen. One, you're going to accept that, oh yeah, I should domesticate myself. And this happens in erotic novels. So if you don't believe me, and maybe you think I'm just fucking I'm just, eating fucking shit, go read every single romance novel ever. What is the theme? Because I want to write something. I figured out the process super easy. It's like cookie dough fucking narratives. It's so simple. Bad boy player. He's a billionaire, a vampire, werewolf, pirate, and I think it's doctor. I think those are the 5 most popular archetypes in romance novels for like women's erotic novels. The ones that you just like buy for like $2 at the fucking store, or 50 Shades of Grey. And he's a billionaire. See, guy who's adventurous but high value. Pirate. He's he can kill people. He's lives his own life on his terms. Billionaire. He's super successful by almost every metric of male competition. Vampire, dangerous, killer. Werewolf, same thing. And then surgeon, it's a very high status job and high intelligence, but they work a lot of hours, and so they're hard to domesticate. So they meet this guy, and usually the girl herself is actually not that attractive, because women want to put themselves in the narrative. And if you put this amazing girl, most girls aren't going to be able to fit that image. So, Hector Castillo, I think is her name, in 50 Shades of Grey, right? She's just like, plain Jane, I'm just a normal girl, and then all of a sudden this billionaire wants me, and I'm like, bugami ashpula, like, he'll fuck you, like, for sure, but he's not going to throw everything away for you, Miss Basic. Like, if you want a billionaire, like, you better have the most amazing dick suck game of all time, and you must, like, have some amazing things about you. But anyways, I'm just nitpicking on the stupidity of this industry. And so there's this amazing guy. He fucks a lot of girls, and then she's just a normal chick. And then somehow, and usually by putting off sex, she gets him to commit. That I've read like 10 of them. There was a summer where I just wanted to like understand this, and I read like, I don't know, a handful of them or 10. I can't remember exactly. And it was just the fucking. They were the top ones, the most popular ones, and it was all the same. She would flirt with him and like him, but for a variety of reasons, she'd put off sex. And basically she'd say I know you do this with every girl, but, I'm not going to be the same. And then he gives up his sexual commitment and usually offers a relationship, and then he gets sex in return. And this is like the ultimate female fantasy, is to change the guy and domesticate him. And that's what the topic of this video is that she's trying to get him to change in order to get sexual commitment. That's usually always what's going on. That's the main motivation. And so when women try to tell me not to be such a womanizer and fuck other women, I don't care who the fuck you are, you're not going to change that about me. I made that decision not super recently, because I was about normal relationships and monogamy, but then I realized, no, I am this way. If one day I decide I only want to sleep with one woman, it's going to be my decision, not because someone convinced me to do it. But I don't really think that's ever going to happen. I like relationships and I want to have girlfriends, but to stop fucking other women, no. Not anytime soon. And you could be like literally the most amazing person ever, and if you really try to get me to only be with you, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Because I don't have to, and I don't want to. I'd rather be alone. But that's the sexual strategy that women are going to try to use on you. And so the way that you frame this, aside from them trying to get a relationship, is you could see it as, and these are the two reasons that are really just one reason, is everyone, it's not just a female thing, everyone is always trying to confirm their own worldview. That's why if there's a YouTube video, someone comments their opinion and says, no, I think it's this way. No, I think it's this way. And then people get in fucking arguments on the internet. Because people want... Basta. She fucks play. She just starts messing with the plastic wrapping. She loves it. She's a little troll. Everyone is always trying to convince everyone else of their world. This is something that I particularly actually despise about humanity. But it seems natural because I do it too, right? Everyone is always trying to control you to live in their narrative, because what happens is if you agree with my worldview, then you have to play by my rules. So this is what white knights do, for instance. For those of you who don't know, white knights are the kind of guys who are like, don't objectify women, don't try to sleep with women, even though they're gonna go home and jerk off to porn later, or think about the girl they have a crush on who's fucking the bad boy like me or something. They are like, they'll get on YouTube or on Instagram and they'll insinuate that someone like me is a womanizer or, hates women, misogynist, sexist. And then he's hoping deep down that somehow I'm going to be like, you know what, dude, you're right. I'm going to change my ways and I'm going to be like you. Because why else would he be commenting, right? Everyone always has a purpose behind their actions, even if it's subconscious or unconscious. Could you just take that away? Okay. Appreciate it.
Okay.
No, yeah, just throw her away. Everyone is always trying to control you. And it's not always in a malicious way. They just want you to act like them. Because if White Knight Man convinces me to not be who I am, then what's going to happen is I'm not going to be competition for him. And I'm not going to fuck his girl and take his girl from her. And really what he's trying to do is eliminate or control the opposition when women slut shame each other, for instance. A lot of people think that it's men who slut shame women. I mean, if they do, obviously, you can see it. But, they still want to fuck that girl. So it's not like they're like, stop being a slut. It's usually, oh, you're a slut for other men, and then I'm just expressing my frustration because I can't sleep with you. Because you sleep with everyone else but not me, or he seems like good. But even a slut doesn't sleep with everyone. Like, she'd have 1,000 lays by the time she's 22. Like, that's just not feasible. She may flirt and seem like she sleeps with a lot of guys, but even if it's just like 30 or 40, it's still really not that many. Anyway, when girls are slut-shaming each other, oh, she's a whore, because she hears about this girl sleeping with a guy she likes, what is she going to do? Oh, she's a whore. Because then what happens is the guys don't want to be associated with dating a whore, because it makes them look like, because if you date a whore, then a whore, quote unquote, then that means if you're seeing her a lot and spending time with her and getting in a relationship with her, you're with a girl who's been with a lot of guys, and she's very likely to cheat, because that's everyone's intuition, and it has some validity. And a girl who's been with a lot of guys usually has a higher chance of cheating, statistically. There's actually a study I try to find. I think it's for every new partner that a girl has, her likelihood of infidelity goes up X%. And obviously, it evens out at some point. But what they're saying is, okay, she's a slut. The guys say, oh yeah, she's a slut. So all the other guys are going to make fun of me if I get serious in a relationship with her. All the girls are going to start to criticize me if I get in a relationship with her. And then their social control through peer pressure and through shame is going to convince me eventually. Because if you have enough people telling you something, you're going to start to believe it, even if you're very hard to convince and even if you're very independent. And so then you're going to not date her. And so they successfully, through calling her one word, changed the outcome of your life, because that could have been a girl that you slept with for a long time. Maybe she's not actually a whore, right? There's so many complexities here, but the point is that there's always strategy behind what people do when it relates to dating. And so whether it's women slut-shaming other women to kick her out of, right? Because if she convinces all the other girls she's a whore, and here's the thing about being a whore, why it's so dangerous to other women. So let's say you have 5 women, and they're all like very conservative, and they're very like careful with who they fuck. Then one girl decides, you know what, I'm just so horny, and I want to start fucking these guys, and I'm tired of being this prude, right? She just wants to have fun. So she goes off, she starts fucking guys. Guys know that they can, or they think that they have a chance with her. And then the other girls, the 4 ones who are conservative, they're playing by a different set of rules. And so they're seeing that these guys are giving her attention and giving her commitment, because actually most guys end up giving commitment to really promiscuous women, because those promiscuous women learn how to suck dick really good. They learn how to look good, make their makeup good. They work out, you know, the high class ones, the high class sleuths, I guess. They're very good at seducing men. And so these conservative girls, yeah, they're pretty and yeah, they're hard to get. So there's some sort of psychological reward to, oh, I got the girl who's hard to get. They have value, but they're getting outcompeted by the girl who's a slut. And so she is changing the rules, and that pisses off the other 4 girls, because of course they want dick. Like, I don't care if you're the most fucking prude chick on earth, you have dirty ass fantasies, and you finger yourself to the idea of getting gangbanged in every hole that you have. Like, I don't care how innocent you are. If you tell me that you don't think about sex, I'll tell you to go fuck yourself, because you're a liar. Every girl deep down has the capacity to be really, really promiscuous and really slutty. Or at least with one guy, do a lot of depraved things, because people love sex. You know, porn isn't as popular as it is because, you know, people don't like sex. Erotic novels, you know, girls are like, oh, I don't watch porn. You guys are sick. You watch porn, and like she goes and buys fucking 50 Shades of Grey and like fingers herself to Mr. Grey, like, oh my god, give me that $1 billion in my pussy. Like, you all love sex, but they choose to control their sexuality, and it does have benefits. But you have a homegirl over here who's having fun, and she's making these girls' lives harder, because they want that guy as a boyfriend, but he's busy fucking her because she gave it up. So what they're going to do is, as a sexual strategy, they're going to call her a slut. And then all of the things that I just explained are going to happen. And she's going to get shamed by other women. So not those 4, because let's say it's a friend group of 5, and every time they go out to a party, usually they're getting the attention, but now she's a little bit more promiscuous, and now she's getting all the attention because the guys think, well, maybe I had a shot. And so then they start slut shaming her behind her back, even though they're like, oh, I love you, hi, I'm like a hot, you know, girls. And then other friend groups, you know, start to know about her. So maybe she kind of gets outcasted by this friend group, but then she goes to another friend group. And then that's why if you know girls who are really promiscuous, they actually tend to revolve friend groups a lot, and this is one of the reasons. There's more reasons than that, but you know, she's going to go to another friend group, and they're going to know how she's behaving, and they're going to see her as it's really just, I mean, once you like see the truth of everything going on, it kind of like blows your mind, because you'll see like, why do really unattractive women hang out with like really attractive women? Because they're hoping to get like their trickle down, their sloppy seconds or their sloppy thirds, you know, because the beautiful girl's gonna get all the attention, and somehow maybe that's gonna get the ugly girl to get some attention. Oh god, I could go on for like years explaining this shit. It's so much fun. But essentially, worldview, right? That's why someone's gonna want to convince you to change, to see the way the world they see it. Because what happens is, if someone pulls you into their worldview, whether it's a white knight trying to convince me not to be who I am, or it's a more conservative girl tries to convince a girl who's a little bit more promiscuous not to be promiscuous, and to, you know, dress modestly. And there could be societal like motivations in highly religious societies. You can see like women will enforce oppressive religious behaviors onto other women because you're not playing by their rules, and so they have to live under this regime, but then you don't. No, you're going to come be as miserable as I am. So there's actually sexual strategy behind it as well. So it's kind of tied back to trying to get a relationship, but also there's just the belief of like, if everyone's believing the same thing that I believe, and this is maybe the fundamental thing, if everyone's acting the same way I am, it must mean that I see reality the correct way. If some guy stumbles upon this video, and one of you is that guy right now, literally watching, or will watch once this gets uploaded, you believe that I'm a sexist, that I'm a piece of shit, I'm a tool bag. I've gotten comments like that on my YouTube videos all the time. You know, whatever accusation that they want to launch at me. That person literally watching this video right now, yes, I'm looking at you. You're thinking, all right, fuck this guy. Now, the reasons why you're doing it is probably because you can't get pussy and you're just a loser. But what is really going on there is, not only is there a lack of intimacy in your life and sex in your life, and I wish you would just, you know, quit being a bitch and improve your life, but you're hoping that somehow you can rationalize away your lack of romance and lack of sex. by explaining it via some other means. So maybe you're, a MGTOW incel, right? So you can't get laid just because of X reason, and it's because women are evil. And so I'm over here, yeah, I'm a fuckboy, but I'm also preaching about how like women are awesome and, we should love women and blah, blah, blah. And so you're like, no, women are evil and I hate them. And the reason is because they won't suck your dick. Or you did have a girlfriend that she cheated on you, so you believe that. Yeah, you can get with women, but they're always untrustworthy and they're, always going to stab you in the back and, fuck your best friend or whatever. If you can somehow believe that there's other people who believe this too, it strengthens your worldview. So what you do is you go on a particular website, and I know there was a few, and I don't even want to name them to give them attention, but there's certain websites that are like really toxic, like really all they do is talk about how evil women are and how even like pickup guys are like pieces of shit because, we're frauds and it doesn't work and you can't get girls and everyone's miserable like them. If they can have an echo chamber of people believing the same thing they believe, it gives them a reassurance of, okay, I'm not a piece of shit, just the world sucks. The world is horrible. Well, I can assure you the world is not as horrible as you think it is. I, in fact, think it's perfect. I think that everyone is getting exactly what they deserve at all times. But that's another discussion that has to be had. So when a woman tries to change you, right? I digressed extremely a lot, but I hope that fleshed out what I'm trying to mean by the motivations that people have to try and change you. People in general, and then we just apply to women, is people want to pull you into their worldview because it makes them feel better. And then there's a secondary thing going on. This was the other reason that really is the same, but I thought it was kind of different, is when you get shit tested by a woman, and a woman is disagreeing with you about something. So let's say I tell a girl what I do for a living, and she's like, oh, you're not one of those pickup artists, are you? And then I go, okay, and then I have to figure out a way to address what she's saying without getting caught into the connotations that she apparently has based on her tone when she just said that I'm not exactly what she thinks I am. But then I don't also want to be like, oh no, don't worry, I'm not like that, because then I failed the shit test. Because what she's saying is, let's say, oh, you don't fuck a lot of girls, do you? Maybe that's one of the implications. There's lots of connotations going on when she says that, but one of them is, you don't fuck a lot of girls. And if I give into that, then I'm essentially saying, oh yeah, no, I don't have a dick, and I'm not fucking a lot of girls. Only as a way to appease her and make sure that she doesn't judge me for being this pickup artist and whatever evil connotations are associated with that word and that phrase. Then I fail the shit test. But what that shit test really was deep down, I don't think it was conscious. In some cases it can be, like a girl can disagree with you just to fuck with you, like just for fun. But in a lot of cases, what she's doing is she's just giving you her opinion based on her understandings of the particular words used, like pickup artist in that particular instance. And she's trying to confirm her worldview because she maybe saw a YouTube video about some weird, creepy pickup artist. Or she got fucked over by a guy who's kind of a fuckboy, and she associates the idea of being a pickup artist with being a fuckboy. And so if you fail that test, then you're not that. One second, let me try and clarify what I just said. If I'm shit testing you based on my worldview and you fail it, then you are not the guy that you should be, and you're not as high value as you should be. And so I wasn't particularly trying to get you to change your mind. I just had this particular worldview, and I got you to submit. There it is. I fucking lost my train of thought. I was trying to get you to submit to my worldview. And so it wasn't necessarily a sexual strategy shit test. It was an attempt to confirm my own worldview, but at the same time, I achieved two things at once. Okay, so are they the same?
You guys saw me like fucking turn it. My brain was like really trying to connect like this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. That's so interesting. Okay, yeah. Is that what shit tests really are? Okay, so shit test is such an interesting concept because we have the obvious motivation of a girl trying to make you submit because it's hot if like you're a big fuckboy, you're you know all fucking girls and you're being adventurous and blah blah blah. But I want you to be domesticated just enough that you're still hot, because if you totally turn into a little bitch boy, then I'm not attracted to you at all. And this is actually what happens sometimes as the fuckboy, especially in the romance novel, because at the end, the fuckboy like marries her or gets in a relationship with her, but then they don't say that 4 months later he turns into a complete chode and she loses her respect for him and fucks a different guy who has that same value that he did, but he gave it up for her. So that's what women are trying to do. That's very clear. But on a psychological, because I don't want to be a reductionist and I don't want to always put everything to sexual strategy, because if you're only seeing things via the biology or evolutionary biology, you can have motivations exist equally but in different dimensions. So on one hand, here's sexual strategy, right? And I tend to always default to that explanation because it's the most obvious and primal and simple way to explain things, but also on another level, there's just human things going on. And so it's not that, yes, sexual strategy is happening because it's man and woman, but there's also just human things that are going on, and it just happens to express itself through the sexual strategy stuff, but it's just a human thing. But because she's a woman and you're a man, then it takes the form of the sexual strategy shit. Okay, so what a shit test is, this is interesting. What a shit test is it's her conscious or unconscious attempt to validate her view of the world, that, you know, this is correct, or that's right, or this is bad, or this kind of behavior is immoral. I had a date when I was in Ukraine, and this one girl pretty much just told me that she believes what I do for a living is immoral and that I shouldn't be the way that I am. And I got to the root of it, and I found out that she was against pretty much any idea of seducing a woman or dominating a woman because she had a bad experience. And I don't want to go into the details of it because, you know, I want to respect her privacy, but essentially, I don't think she really had a problem with me fucking a lot of girls, because on the surface it's super attractive. Like, you can't deny the sexual strategy thing, and that is that if a woman sees a man getting a lot of girls, that's like, she is turned on. There is no contradiction to this. She is just turned on. It is like the most primal thing. That guy's getting pussy, he's hot. Pussy is wet. Whether she's going to sleep with you or not depends on other circumstances, but she's wet. She didn't have a problem with that. What she had a problem with is the idea of me attempting to dominate, control, or even coerce on a really deep, dark psychological level. And she was pushing back against that. So it wasn't even a shit test. Because a lot of times when guys are talking about shit tests, what I think they're thinking, and what I thought for a long time, but I knew it was always a little bit inaccurate and really didn't give the full picture. And it's that she's not just sitting there like, here's the shit test. Let's see how he reacts. I don't think that she's, like, I know women are vastly intelligent when it comes to social things. But I think they're working on a lot more background programs than they are just like 100% like, okay, I'm gonna shit test you, I'm gonna say this and see how he reacts, and if he doesn't react in this way, then he's a pussy and he fails my shit test. I really don't think that women are doing that. I think they're adapting to reality very quickly, and it's not so planned out. From what I've seen, and I've seen pretty in-depth looks into you know, behind the scenes of how women think, you know, talking to women about other men, seeing them interact on their, like, in their own little circles and just hive minding. Sometimes they're conscious, obviously, you know, they're not just robots, like, they are conscious about what they're doing sometimes. But I think that deep down, what a shit test is, and what, coming back to the video, or the topic of the video, is that when a woman is trying to change you through something like a shit test, like disagreeing with what you do or challenging a worldview of yours. Oh, fuck, yes. Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, what they're doing is they're saying, here's how I see the world. You know, and it could be like players are bad, you know, selection is bad, or, you know, my politics are right. Because I can get in an oh yeah, okay, like my religion's correct, my whatever it is, right? Just worldview, any like opinion she has about fucking anything. If you can resist her attempt to change your worldview, she's gonna get turned on by you, because two things are happening. One, you're not just appeasing her and agreeing with her just so simply you don't piss her off, because that makes women disgusted. If you're willing to sacrifice your own beliefs and your own passions and your own, if it's something you don't give a shit about, then be like, oh, okay, sure, like I didn't know, like yeah, maybe that's a good argument, you know, cool. If it's not important to you. But if you have a genuine opinion about something and she changes your mind, and most guys are going to change their mind or agree with girls just simply because they don't want to risk pissing them off, because they think that pissing her off is going to make it easier for him to sleep with her, when in fact it's the complete opposite. If you piss a girl off and you dominate her in an intellectual argument or an emotional argument, she's actually going to get more turned on by you. But that's counterintuitive to what most men think. It actually makes a lot of fucking sense once you think about it. But it seems counterintuitive to the standard paradigm that most people operate off of this paradigm. Like, if I make you mad, you're not going to have dealings with me. When in fact, a lot of times, if I make you mad, you're going to respect me. Because even if you don't like me, you're going to respect me. And maybe you'll grow to like me after we get past this argument, whatever we're having. So what happens is, one, you're showing that you're not like every other guy who's just going to, whatever you want, yeah, I'll agree with you. Oh my God, I'll worship you. You know, you're amazing. I'll give you everything. That's so unattractive. Just on a people level, not even on a man level, but on a people level. But the second thing is happening is that you're actually dominating her by resisting her attempt to change you. You don't have to always convince a girl. It's even more domination if you convince a girl of your position. If you can convince a girl to change her mind in your favor, then she's going to submit to you, because you're demonstrating that you're higher value than her. And women want to sleep with men that are higher value than her. And it doesn't matter how you look on paper, like if your resume is not as good as hers. The only real way that a woman determines your value is if she will submit to you. It's the most fundamental and quick and easy. You know, a lot of guys think that life is based off of resumes, how much money you make, Those are great. They definitely do help. But the number one way that a woman is going to sleep with you is if, while in her presence, she will follow the way that you think and follow the way that you feel and follow your directions. Let's go here or go here. Or at least she's not going to be able to change you. So maybe it's kind of a Mexican standoff. But if you can resist a woman's attempt to change you, it could be within the first 5 minutes of you talking. It could be 10 years down the road in marriage. Like, at any point in any time, if a woman is trying to convince you to do something and you genuinely don't want to do it, if it's like, hey, you want to go right or go left, to be like, I don't give a fuck, like, we'll go left, right? Don't be stupid about this. But what I'm talking about is like genuine, like, this is what I want to do with my life. She's like, no, I don't agree with that. Or this is how I feel about this political situation, or this religious doctrine, whatever it is. If she is not able to convince you to change and you're able to resist and keep your opinion and your belief, you win. You win by a war of attrition. You win by default because you didn't submit to her. Not submitting to women is one form of domination. Then the highest form of domination is you then changing her mind about the world. Now, God damn it, I could go in like 5 different directions. This has just opened up a can of worms, and I'm, like I said, I like these live streams because they're a little bit more raw. Like, we had that 2 minutes left. Oh, fuck. I was like, yeah, I went for 58 minutes straight. Fuck me. Okay, well, I went for 40 minutes, so that's something. I keep going to, these live streams are not as clean cut, and I had that moment. There was like 5 minutes there. You guys were like seeing me like, because I was fucking like twisting my brain in 5 directions. The good thing about this is that I come up with really unique ideas because I'm on the spot, and I have to because I'm not gonna sit here and like derp out in front of everyone because it's really embarrassing. So it's a great little way to get me to think of new ideas. But unfortunately, when Hector comes up with new ideas, he just wants to talk for fucking ever and explain every little detail about it. So I'll just leave most of that on the side and focus on what I really wanted to discuss. And it took me 40 minutes to get here. Jesus Christ. And that is, when a woman tries to change you, should you change or not? Right? So we went over the motivations of why a woman would want to change you. It's either to get you into a relationship, so to domesticate you, or it's to confirm her own way of seeing the world. And if she gets you to change your mind and agree with her, she's going to feel better about herself. If you fall for the second one, then she's not even going to want you at all. She's going to think you're weak. If it's the first one, you can chill out enough. Like, let's say you get a serious girlfriend. Maybe you're not going out 4 times a week. Maybe you'll go out once, right? She's not going to see you as weak. She kind of might just see that as, hey, he wants to spend time with me, because if you have a girlfriend, you will have to dedicate a certain amount of time with her. So I don't want you to think, I'll never change at all. And it's like, okay, you might have to adapt to a girlfriend a little bit because you want to, right? You only have so many hours a day. If you're going to have a girlfriend, she's probably not going to put up with you seeing her once every, so often, unless it's some long distance situation. But if you're like, hey, you want to hang out? No, I'm going out to party. Hey, you want to hang out? No, I'm going to party. Okay. She's going to be like, all right, why am I in this relationship? Right? So you're going to have to adapt a little bit. Or you can pull her into that and get her to go partying with you, but then there's issues with that as well. So you can change for a woman. The question is, are you going to change because it's your idea or her idea? And secondly, if she's trying to change you on a more fundamental level, like your personality, then you have to do something very simple but also very hard, is you have to analyze her motivations. And you have to decide, is she trying to get me to change for one of these 2 reasons, to get me deeper into the relationship and have me commit more emotionally to her, or because she's just trying to confirm her own view of like how reality should be and how her ideal man should be? Or is she doing it because she wants you to be a better person and she sees within you something, some version of yourself that's better? And a lot of the greatest changes I've had as a man have been because women have seen in me potential that maybe I didn't see in myself. And this doesn't always take the form of, hey, I want you to change exactly this way. Sometimes it takes the form of her losing interest and her not liking you as much as she used to. And then you figure out that it was this behavior. Let's say you're dating kind of a high-class girl. And let's say you dress kind of shitty. She likes you, she likes fucking you, she likes a lot of things about you. And she knows you have a lot of ambition, but you don't really dress yourself well. And maybe she starts to make comments about it. So at first you're gonna be like, oh, you just want me to dress because, you want me to be your little boy toy and, play house the way that you want me to. But also there could be a positive benefit behind it. Maybe if you start dressing better, more professionally, you wear a suit, you wear a tie, the other desires that you have in your life are going to improve yourself because people do judge the way you look. So let's say you look more professional. Maybe that way that you look makes you feel different enough and makes people perceive you different enough that when you go to this particular meeting for, because you're selling this thing, whatever, and that's you're a salesman or something. And she's like, why don't you dress better? And let's say that change actually has a massive effect on your life, and then you end up getting a business deal that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't have felt that cool in that nice suit, or that person would like respect you as an adult who can dress themselves. And that's a super random example, but that's one way to see how a woman, maybe she does want to change you to like, because she's a high status girl, and so she's like, look, I want my boyfriend to look high status as well. Maybe there are selfish motivations behind it, and I guess at a very ultimate level, every person's motivations at all times about everything is selfish, and I would actually agree with that. Her motivations, although being selfish, can lead you to becoming a better man and getting your shit together. You know, maybe she's like, hey, maybe you should stop partying so much. And you're like, fuck you, bitch, I'm not gonna change for you, I'm me, and I'm gonna go party. But then you say, okay, maybe I'll give it a try. And then instead of partying every night, you're working on your dream and your ambitions. And then you end up actually having more fun and doing more things than you would have had you kept partying. So her pushing for you to change, whether directly her saying, hey, I think you should change, or indirectly through you just seeing her interest kind of wane, and you can kind of tell that it's about this behavior of yours, that behavior of yours, it might be worth changing. If it's not that big of a, if it's not some sort of like deeply held thing to you, and it improves your relationship and improves your life, why not change? But if you're doing it just to appease her, and it is something that's fundamental to you, which for me, for instance, is sleeping with other women. Look, that's just something I want to do. And if anyone tries to get me to change it, they can't. It would really break my heart if it lost me a certain girl that I really liked, but it's also who I am, because I've been in monogamous relationships, and when I'm not sleeping with new women, I feel like I'm dying. Like if I'm not gonna sleep with new women, I just might as well be single and just go be a monk. Because I don't know how to explain. Someone's gonna say, oh, you have some sort of you're just trying to cope. You're just trying to, and there's one person in particular who's gonna hear that line and she's gonna laugh. I'm just trying to hide from things, whatever, Everyone's always like, oh, you're just a sex addict and you're trying to run from blah, 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 whatever. I don't give a fuck. Sure, I may have some deep-seated insecurities or traumas that are leading me to want to sleep with a lot of women. But you just telling me to stop doing it is usually because of one of these two reasons. And so I'm not going to change that about myself anytime soon unless something happens where I don't want to do that anymore. But I'm definitely for fucking sure not going to do it because some girl tells me to do it. I'm going to do it because I want to do it. However, if there is something about myself that maybe could be improved and a woman is pushing me for me to change it, and it's in my best interest, but it also improves our relationship together because, she sees that I care about her opinion, and, there's a lot of different motivations, but I'm not going to lose respect for myself if I do it. Because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what changes in your life are going to be for the better. I would say if you feel like you're betraying yourself, don't do it. Even if fucking Krishna himself descends from, some abode in one of the heavens and says, listen, motherfucker, change this about yourself. And you really, 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 really don't want to change it, whip your dick out and fucking slap Krishna in the fucking face with it and just say, go fuck yourself, you little bitch. I'm not gonna change shit. Because you really just, in your deepest heart of hearts, you don't want to change it by yourself. Not only is Krishna gonna respect the fucking hell out of you, I promise, you're gonna respect the hell out of yourself. And so if women try to change you for their own benefits and it doesn't benefit you, tell them to go fuck themselves. Maybe you'll lose her, but very likely she's gonna Niagara Falls, slip and slide out of her pussy, and she's gonna fuck you. Because a man who's willing to change for a girl just to simply appease her and make her not feel so bad, he's a pussy. But at the same time, you should be willing to adapt and be willing to change, because that's the only way to improve. At some point, you have to change who you are to improve. And if you stay the same, you're gonna keep getting the same results you always have. And so you have to make that decision for yourself. But women are always going to be trying to change you, and so it's your job to recognize her motivations and the consequences of those changes, and then make the decision for yourself. So, cool. All right. So I went for 50 minutes. I'll do 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll go. Just lots of hellos. Oh man, lots of people joined. What? Yeah. Well, I don't know how many. I have 6 right now, but there were like a lot coming in and out. Okay. Where's the live chat? Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. Oh, this one's good. Oh, why did I switch this? Whoops. I'm filming you, David. So, whoops. My bad. I got you. Okay. So how much does alcohol influence closing rate? Oh God, what a great question. I've always gone out dating without it, and there's this girl who told me she will only do fellatio after drinking alcohol. What? I'll only suck your dick if I'm drunk. I mean, if she really wants, just grab her some fucking tequila. I mean, it's not like you're forcing her to drink. She's like, hey, if you want to suck your dick, I gotta get drunk. I mean, sure, if that's what you're into, you know, go ahead. Hopefully she doesn't throw up on your fucking dick though. Alcohol influence closing rate. I thought when you first meant alcohol influencing closing rate, I thought you meant like if you get drunk, are your results gonna go up or down? My experience, when I'm drunk, my from meeting her to just about to take her home game is godlike. It's like fucking, you know, I am the fucking Buddha of pussy. But it does affect the end. Because usually why it was so good in that beginning is because I'm being super fucking touchy and aggressive and she's loving it, we're making out and blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, I just have trouble closing because what happens when you get drunk is a lot of your insecurities are revealed and a lot of your bullshit is revealed because it's harder to keep up like your mask and your act in life. And so your facial expressions and your body language and your tone of voice reveals things about you. And so maybe if you were sober and you'd be like, hey, you want to go home? You would say that in a really cool, calm way. Be like, hey, let's get out of here. But then because you're drunk, you're going to be like, so you want to get out of here? No. And then she, you know, senses some sort of hesitance on your part and some sort of thing that's not quite right, because up until now you've been this god and she's just been super wet for you, but then all of a sudden you stumble at the end and she's like, what's going on here? And then, you know, you kind of lose the momentum that you had, and so you lose her. So alcohol for sure has made my closing rate skewed, but at the same time I've gotten tons of lays because I was drunk and I was like super like just emotional and primal. And I was just like, hey, let's get out of here. And I just grab her and just fucking start walking, and she's like, okay. I'd say overall it's a bit of a plus. It's just depending on your health, because it can have long-term health consequences, obviously. You know, after a few months of drinking almost every day, you're gonna feel like shit. Money, you know, but if that's your trouble, then just move to Eastern Europe and you can get fucked up for like $5. You could literally buy like a 2.5 liter thing of beer that will get you shit-faced for like €2. Let's see, quality of people that you're around. I really don't like to go out and party that much anymore because most of the people I meet are really toxic pieces of shit. Mostly the guys. The girls are cool, usually, unless they're batshit insane, which I have met a few of them, more than a few. It's usually just the guys. Let's see what else. Hangovers, productivity, it affects the rest of your life. I mean, if girls is your main thing, then partying is usually going to be part of your lifestyle. Unless you're just day gaming, right? Let's see, what other negative effects does it have? It could lead to weird situations with girls because they get super fucked up. You know, they're loving you 1 minute, and then, you know, when you're drunk, things go through your mind, and then she has this super insecure moment, and she remembers something bad that happened in her past, and she just starts to freak out, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this girl crying? And I remember picking up this pretty hot club girl. She was a friend of someone I worked with, and I'd seen her a few times out at the clubs, but then one night, I just randomly saw her sitting at a table. And I was like, hey, I walk up, she's like, hi. And we just start making out. And she's really hot. And I'm like, okay. And I grab her and I take her. And we get in the cab and she's rubbing on my dick and we're making out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck this bitch. And so I take her to my apartment and we start going upstairs. Oh my God. And I'm just really excited, you know, because I really love women. And I look at her, I'm like, you're so beautiful. And so, you know, I'm happy to be here with you. Something really genuine. And then she looks at me and she's like, you think I'm beautiful? I was like, yeah. She's like, I don't think so. And then, like, as soon as we get in the room, her fucking entire attitude changes. And I think I should have just been more of an asshole, because some of these girls, like, if you want to go into, like, dark seduction game, they actually, like, don't want you to be too nice to them, because, you know, then you're just a nice guy. And then you show yourself as lower value than them because they think they're a piece of shit, but if you think they're good, then you must be stupid, so you must be an idiot. That's something that kind of happens with girls who are really insecure. And so that's why these girls tend to date douchebags who confirm their worldview that they're pieces of shit. But that's going into some dark territory. Anyways, after the, like, it was that exact moment. Like, everything was on. You know, we were both pretty fucked up. I was pretty fucked up. But I don't know, I just thought she was really cool. But then all of a sudden, she just, like, starts, like, crying and just starts fucking, like, why are you with me? Why are you here with me? You know, why do you even like me? And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm just, like, drunk, so I'm, like, super compassionate. And I'm like, no, I like you. You're so cool. Oh, my God. But then that actually had the opposite effect. Because, again, she thinks she's a piece of shit. And so she's like, no, you know, whatever. And then, like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, hey, you need some water. And I'm trying to, like, give her fucking water. And this bitch just opens my door and starts fucking sprinting down the stairs. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I, like, run after her. I'm like, where are you going? Or, you know, like, do you even know where you're going? You're okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Just leave me alone. And I'm like, what the fuck? And finally I catch up to her. And I'm like, hey, can you just, like, fucking chill? And she's like, okay. I'm like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, can we just go upstairs and I'll give you some fucking water? Do you want to go to sleep? Like, and I go upstairs and she's like, fine, I'll go upstairs. And there's some people walking past us and they look at her, they're like, are you okay? Because they're assuming I did something wrong. I'm like, no, I literally just complimented this girl and she's, like, losing her mind. And she's like, yeah, everything's fine, right? So that could have led to a bad situation. Maybe they think I'm a creeper or something and some guy wants to fight me, all because, you know, we're getting drunk. So some bad things about drinking. Anyways, we go upstairs and, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, you'll sleep here, I'll sleep on this side of the room. And because it was a studio, and I was like, here's some water. And she's like, well, why don't you want to sleep with me? And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, god damn it, the fuck do you want? Because I was thinking, like, I don't want to fucking creep this chick out. And I'm like, here, you sleep there. And she's like, why are you being weird? Why wouldn't you want to sleep with me? And I'm like, oh my fuck. And at that point I was like, this is bad. And then her friend's texting her, and then I just call her friend. I'm like, hey, where does this bitch live? I'm gonna get her there. And so I got her home. And so, yeah, drinking. Fuck, yeah. Not always good. I mean, people don't drink because they're happy usually. You can drink to have fun, you know, but most of the time people are drinking to run away from things. So, your question definitely wasn't that detailed, I know, but there was a detailed answer. Can you make a short course for approach anxiety? Look, man, I've been dealing with people who have approach anxiety for a long time with my coaching, and I'm gonna tell you that there's really no, like, solution like that's gonna click for you. The most effective solution I've seen is berating people and then telling you you're a bitch for not approaching, and then telling you you're gonna be lonely and not get any pussy because you won't approach. That's the best motivation. You're gonna get nothing if you don't approach. Right? I've given people deep philosophical analysis for like an hour and they didn't listen, and then I'm just like, quit being a fucking little cunt ass bitch, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll go do it. Hector, I want to know what process is from start to finish. Like first you do this, and then I do that. You want a detailed process of what I do? You're gonna need to sign up for coaching, because that's gonna. It's not even that it's like secret. Like if anyone tells you like here's some super secret thing, they're lying. There's no fucking super secrets out there. I've met people who have 1,000 lays and they're not doing anything that's fucking sacred or super fucking. Oh god. My Instagram turned off for a second. So, but it's just time. I'll have to tell you stories because there's not just one simple Well, I guess if you want a simple process, I walk up and tell her she's beautiful. I get her phone number. I text her to have coffee. We meet for coffee. I get to know her as well as possible. Like I try to learn things about her that no one else has known. I flirt with her very, very obviously. I stare at her. I check her out. I tell her she's beautiful. I think she's sexy. If I get ideas in my head about like doing something with her sexually, I'm going to tell her that. And then I invite her home, and I'm usually quite direct, because I've been talking about sex. I'm like, hey, you want to get out of here? Go back to my place. And then, I deal with whatever objections come up. And then, or she just says, yeah, we go. And then I take her home and I have sex with her. The only other way to properly explain a process is just to tell you a story and then explain every detail there. So, yeah. So you don't think men are handicapped when it comes to dating? I don't know what that means. Like, you mean naturally? I mean, naturally, yes, we're retarded. But there is some merit to being a dumb hot guy. Like, you're just this super manly guy, super aggressive. It's like, hey, what's up? And then you just have stupid ass conversations, but it works. I've had some fucking stupid ass conversations and fuck girls. Like, just the most asinine, random shit ever. But it works because, being a man, you're meant to build and kill. That's your main thing. You're good at building shit, and you're good at killing shit. Women are good at socializing. So, okay, I think I know what you mean now. Yeah, we're handicapped when it comes to dating, for sure. We're meant to kind of just be like warriors, and then we come home and have sex with all the women who love us. Or we're builders, or architects, or artists, and then we just have sex with the women who come around us. But being a genuine seducer, not just a fucker, yes, that we are very handicapped with. What's your impact on how weather impacts seduction? If you go out to clubs when weather's bad and people are there, they're definitely down to fuck. Because they're like, despite this weather, I'm going to go out. I got 12 to 15 numbers from day game and literally all flakes. But then when the weather's nice... I guess there could be a connection. Like, it's raining, so she just feels like, I really don't want to go out. But if she likes you, it's not going to matter. I've had shitty weather and girls still meet up with me. But yeah, maybe it like affects those girls who are on the fence about you. And they're like, oh, it's snowing, or oh, it's raining, or oh, it's, there's a fucking tornado outside my window. I don't know. People are falling into the earth because the earth is splitting in half. The weather might have like a little bit of effect on her willingness to go out and meet with you. But if she really likes you, she's gonna go meet with you. Okay, love you, Hector. Hope you like boys too. Oh, okay. I mean, I've experimented, but I'm not into it. I've definitely given it a try. Let's see. What does it mean when a girl flakes at the last minute? I don't. Did you confirm with her? A lot of times when I have girls flake with me on the last minute, it's because I didn't confirm. Like, that day, like, let's say the date's at 7, like at noon, you should be like, hey, I'll see you at 7 at blah, blah, But if it's last second, it could just be maybe you were texting and there was some weirdness in your texting, or maybe you didn't text her enough because there's like 5 days that went by since you last talked, and then it's the day of the date, and then, you know, she hasn't heard anything from you, and she's like, okay, did this guy just fucking forget about me? And she's like, hey, I can't make it. But you have to give me specific situations. That's the best way to figure it out. Love your work. What are your goals right now in seduction? Maybe curious, since you know so much, what you can learn at your level. My biggest thing right now is threesomes. I've been having fun with those. I've done a few of those in the past few weeks. High quality girlfriends, multiple girlfriends. I'm working on that as well right now. And yeah, besides threesomes, the only thing really that I'm doing right now is called absolute abundance, and it's basically the idea of I can find a super high quality girl in a relatively short amount of time, and what that gives you is that freedom of, like, if it doesn't work out with this amazing, hot, cool girl, then I can find a girl just as close to her or cooler within, you know, a 6-month time frame. So I'm not really going to get so upset over this one girl. And the problem is, when you don't have this absolute abundance, you do find this amazing girl, but then you don't run the relationship as well as you could have, because you're afraid of losing her, because in your mind, normal girls or even super hot girls are in abundance for you. But what's not in abundance for you is being able to get commitment from a super high quality girl who's not just hot, because hot and beautiful is, well, it's not easy because everyone would be fucking hot and beautiful girls. It's difficult, but even more difficult is finding a hot and beautiful girl who also isn't batshit insane and also has qualities beyond just being hot and beautiful. Because a lot of girls, they're really hot and beautiful, and then you fuck them, and like that's it. That's just all they have, and you're like, talking to them feels like masturbating with sandpaper. Or they are intellectually stimulating, but they're batshit insane, so their emotions are all over the place, and you can never have a stable relationship with them. You know, they drink too much, or they do drugs, and, you know, they're always partying, and you're like, okay, I can't really trust this girl. You know, is it raining? Oh, I love the rain. I love the rain. Such a great end to the video too. It's a blessing from God. So that's what I'm working on. Absolute abundance. Yeah, that is like the holy grail of seduction. And it's something that Chase is like, he knows only a few people who have done it. And I'm pretty much there, actually, I'd say. So once that's good, you know, having threesomes decently regularly. This is kind of the point I wanted to get to. I'm not so much of a, I like achievements, and I like, you know, making it to a certain level, but what I like doing is having a level of skill, and then I can just play with it. I just like having fun. And so, you know, would it be nice to get to 500 days? Sure. And I'm sure I'll get there if I continue doing what I'm doing right now. But I'm not going to die, or I'm not going to get super upset if I don't. Or would it be nice to have, you know, 6 sums and 7 sums? Yeah, but it's just kind of extra credit. I just want to get to the point where I was no longer obsessed with it on a level of like I'm going crazy if I don't figure this out. And I think I've gotten there. Like, I don't really get upset about girls anymore, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like I was learning how to get girls so I could free myself from them and just enjoy them for their own sake and have fun with them, instead of being obsessed about it, which I was for pretty much 10 years. You know, spending every moment thinking about it. Radu? Okay. So, yeah. It's kind of like once you get enlightenment, what do? Well, you just go do what you're always doing, but now you're not stressing about stuff and suffering. You're just having fun, just playing the game. And so that's the point that I'm at, and I'm really happy with it, actually. Yeah. So, okay. Sorry that I can't do more questions, but that was a very lengthy but interesting topic that I wanted to cover. I got digressed a few too many times. but it was fun. So, okay. Hector Castillo, Poppy, girlchase.com. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. Check out One Date in the description below if you want to learn a process. Oh, the guy who was asking me about the process of meeting a girl. It's generally my process of like, if you want me to like, I said this and then I said this, yeah, you need to do coaching and I need to tell you very long stories and explain how I did it. But if you want a general streamlined process that explains the principles behind getting girls and sleeping with them and then even turning them to a girlfriend after one date, then we have something called One Date. And it's in the description below. If you want to sign up for private coaching, there's also a link in the description below. Please follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up with my life. And I post other things on Instagram. I have a college book if you're more interested in social circle game. It's about college, but the principles apply outside of college as well. Plus, it's really funny and it's cool. So it's called King of College, and it's in the description below as well. And yeah, okay. Hector Castillo, Poppy, girlchase.com. Fuck you.